For more on former President Trump's New York hush money trial, let's bring in criminal defense attorney and former federal prosecutor Katie Cherkasky. Katie, welcome.
Thank you.
So we expect the case to resume on Tuesday. What are your expectations for this week?
Well, the defense has still not been informed about the order of witnesses that are anticipated. At this point, it seems that this case has been more about airing dirty laundry than proving a crime. There's not a cohesive prosecution theory that's been espoused. And really, from a legal standpoint, it's quite confusing. So certainly, I think the jury is going to have to put a lot of pieces together here if the prosecution expects anything close to a conviction.
South Carolina Senator Lindsey Graham, a Trump ally, made an interesting argument earlier today. Let's play him.
You know, apparently a lot of people do this. Arnold Schwarzenegger, Tiger Woods. No, I think the whole thing is a crock. The statute of limitations has long shut out the misdemeanor cases.
What about that argument?
Well, he's absolutely right. We have to remember here that Trump is charged with a felony offense, which requires that the state prove not only that he falsified business records, but that he did so to conceal or commit another offense. The prosecution has not disclosed what this other offense is, and that is at the heart of the issues that they have for proving this case up, and probably a good indication about why this case was passed over by federal prosecutors, by the FEC, and by the Manhattan DA's office itself, because it's very difficult to thread that needle and prove a crime up whatsoever. So we haven't heard anything specifically criminal, just salacious details that are, I think, meant to embarrass President Trump.
There will be a hearing this week on Thursday, we expect, about Trump's alleged violations of the gag order. We can show our audience some of them. How do you expect that to go, Katie?
I'm sure that Judge Merchan will not rule favorably for Trump in terms of what the sanctions are. That remains to be seen. But we have to highlight that this order is highly unconstitutional. It's gagging a political candidate for office. First Amendment issues with political speech receive heightened scrutiny. The gag order only applies to President Trump, and really just reviewing the order itself, there's a lot of constitutional vagueness issues there. So certainly I think he has a very viable complaint about this, but I do not believe he'll receive any sort of relief from Judge Merchan based upon what we've seen thus far.
We've heard the former president vent his frustration numerous times. How dangerous is it jabbing at a judge when the judge is handling your case?
Well, of course, Judge Merchan does have this authority to issue sanctions and find that President Trump was in contempt of his order. But ultimately, President Trump can continue to pursue avenues to challenge this. And I think it's vital, not just for President Trump's sake, but for the future of the country in terms of what political candidates should be able to do to express their First Amendment opinions and campaign, quite frankly. He's stuck in that courtroom. He can't campaign. This is obvious to many people that it's a huge suppression of his rights. So certainly he'll continue to press that issue.
So more salacious and damaging on a personal level than it has been in terms of proving a crime. Is that correct?
Absolutely. I think based upon the evidence presented thus far, there has been no cohesive theory, as I mentioned, as to how President Trump was personally implicated in any criminal conduct. In fact, David Pecker's testimony very favorable to Trump in terms of showing that Michael Cohen was the one driving this train. Michael Cohen was making these decisions. We're going to be left to rely upon the credibility of Michael Cohen, as much as the prosecution wanted to try to distance themselves from him with obvious credibility issues that exist. They're going to have to rely upon his testimony to convince this jury that President Trump was even involved in these plans and schemes.
We will cover it all. Katie Cherkasky, thank you very much.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brian Kilmeade. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to click to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page. This is the only way that I know for sure that you're not going to miss any great commentary, any great news bites, any great interviews coming your way on Fox. You can get it all here on YouTube. So subscribe right now.